Let's ensure that the reward transactions are properly generated. Within the testing file for transactions, in transaction.test.js, we'll describe a new situation in which we're generating a reward transaction. So right at the bottom, we'll have a situation that describes creating a reward transaction. Then we have our callback arrow function as the second parameter to the describe block. Before each following test, we'll set the transaction object to the result of creating a reward transaction with the wallet object. Let's add our before each block then, so that we can create this reward transaction, and the transaction variable will be set to calling the static reward transaction on the transaction class. So that's capital T transaction.reward transaction. And then we're passing in the wallet as the miner's wallet in this case. And then the second parameter is the special blockchain wallet object. So we use wallet.blockchain wallet as the second parameter to generate the blockchain wallet that will actually approve the transaction. All right, now let's have a test which checks that this generated transaction gives the wallet an output within the transaction whose output matches the miner reward. So the test will check whether the reward is generated for the miner's wallet. So we'll say with a backtick, so that way we can use a possessive for the miner's wallet, meaning we need that single quote for miners. That's why we're using backticks for the string. So it rewards the miner's wallet. Here's our arrow function. And within this test, we'll look for the output within the transaction that matches the address of the wallet that we used to actually create the reward transaction for. We'll expect that the transaction outputs, if we find the one whose output.address is identical to the wallet.public key, we'll expect that the amount in this found output matches the mining reward. So as you look over it, make sure you have that the transaction outputs, if you find the output object whose address matches the wallet public key, access its amount, you'll expect it to equal the mining reward constant. All right, notice that we're using a mining reward constant that isn't necessarily in this file yet, so let's require it at the top. So at the top of the file, we'll make a mining reward constant by grabbing it from the default exported object of requiring from the config file that is one directory above with the .. and make sure the braces are around mining reward since it's not the default export but within the default export object of the configuration file. All right, that completes creating a test for the reward transaction all the way at the bottom of this existing transaction test. So let's go ahead and open up the command line. You may still have the test runner still going in the background. Otherwise, run npm run test, and then this should run all the tests. And what we're looking for is a complete suite just as before, confirming that the reward transaction works just as we expected, creating a mining reward amount for that miner's wallet. Great. We've now grabbed the valid transactions, and now we have generated a reward transaction for the miner. The next step will be to create a block consisting of this reward transaction and the valid transactions within the miner's mine function. So let's get to it.